Alrighty, y'all. So this is These We the People News. Alright, so this is going to be the third one, and there may be a fourth one. I thought we was going to get to be able to cut this short. But anyway, this is going to finish the first wrap of this one court reporter. But we're going to start on the one that we're going to be discussing of on the case mainly. With this one right here, and it's going to be with this one right here. Okay, so after they finish up this one right here, which shouldn't be too much longer, we should be starting on that process. Okay, so apologize if it's taking a little longer, but we're learning things as we're going, right? And I mean, these three right here are literally spending all their time trying to wiggle things down, right? But everybody over here is majority just kind of keeping everything hush hush. This is This We the People News, okay? I'm not an attorney. If I give, I will not give legal advice. Why? Because I'm not an attorney. Alright? I never look straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. Alrighty. So, again, this is a learning video for me and y'all. And I did kind of watch through this a little bit while I was downloading that last video. And there's going to be a couple of things I will actually give my opinion on. Not a legal advice, but my opinion. Because it's really interesting with her. And if you see my videos, a few videos back about her, woman standing up to these people, alright, you'll see why. Alright, so let's proceed forward. And this is taking way too long.
Okay. October, let's see, when did she become certified? October?
May 13th, 2016.
No. When did she renew?
The renewal.
Yeah.
2019. Oh, the most recent.
Mhm.
It's January.
January of 2022, right?
Yeah.
January of 2022. So so for 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
she's rectified it.
Mm-hmm.
And look at me, I'm going backwards. You know, I came in here going, oh my gosh, this is not enough. And now I'm kind of where you are, Debbie. But what if we give her credit for the 8 months that she fixed it, that she became certified again, that she renewed?
What are you proposing?
Instead of 3 years, you make it 2 years and 4 months. So at least we've given her credit for the 8 months that she has renewed. I don't know.
And you'd have to ask Molly if she's willing to amend her motion.
I'm willing to amend.
This is just discussion. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
This is something I wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, I'm willing to amend the motion. I don't want to get too cute with it, and I would be more inclined to go like 2.5 years or 2 years as opposed to 2 years, 4 months, 3 days, 6 hours, and then
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
I don't want to get too cute with it and make it too convoluted. I could be. I mean, I certainly would be talked into it to go to 2.5 years, but
Okay, I'll make it. I'll
Hold on.
ask you to
Hold on.
amend.
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to ask again. Do you want to do full revocation, or do you want to do a longer period and make it probated?
the concern isn't The concern, as Ms. Rico has said, and as we identified, is that it's not a competency issue as far as she's a bad reporter that got behind in timelines and she needs somebody to kind of, I don't think that it serves us well to have oversight of her. That's why we have the renewal process. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't, so the commuted sentence of, right, because there are additional obligations in classes that she needs to take, right? Is that what, I don't know that serves anybody particularly any good. I don't think revocation particularly serves anybody any good, but I don't think we can ignore this. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to make it fit, to use your words, I'm trying to make the punishment fit the crime. And I don't know that the probated revocation I don't know that it fixes this problem.
I don't think it does. Because, I mean, if you're, again, I'm going to go back to the fact that the DA is even involved. And
Well, that's separate from us.
Yeah. And
well,
I mean,
no, but
yeah,
I
I
know.
don't want to add insult to injury, but I think that what Kim is saying is that that's the level that's the level that we're dealing with. And of course, yes, people, are put on probation and deferred and all that other kind of stuff. And yes, where it's I just don't, I don't like it that our options are kind of nothing or revocation. I just don't think the supervised or what am I saying, probated, anyway, I don't know that it solves anything.
Okay.
Well, I think I'd ask you to amend your motion to 2.5 years, because we've cut the fine, their suggested fine in
Okay.
half.
Okay. The amended motion is that our recommendation is a finding of an affirmative finding of all the violations except for the Oklahoma reporting violation. A revocation recommendation for 2.5 years and a $500 fine for each of the violations that we found. I'm sorry, a $250 fine for each of the violations that we found, for a total of $2,000. That is the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second again.
Okay. With that, any more discussion?
Excuse me, Molly, and just to be clear, the $2,000 is due within 1 year after the final.
Due within 1 year after the final order that issues in this case. Yes, ma'am. That is
Hold
the
on.
motion and been seconded, and any more whole discussion.
Yeah. Okay. No more discussion.
Okay. Okay. We'll put it to a vote now. All in favor of that motion being our recommendation to the JVCC, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Ms. Rico, that is going to be our recommendation to the JVCC. There will be a meeting on November 4th. You will receive notice of that. You have a right to attend that meeting. And all of that will be outlined in a letter that you will receive from us, okay? I appreciate you being here today, and I appreciate you being a part of this process. And I think, as you can see, how that helped today. So thank you very much, and we wish you luck.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Rico.
Ma'am. Thank you.
I'm about 1 hour and 8 minutes in this case.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. All right. I'm going to, let's next take up agenda item 3A in the matter of Robin Washington, cause number 0276.
The complainant alleged the respondent intentionally altered and/or omitted portions of the record to negatively impact her appeal of the trial court's decision and ignored her request for the record. Additionally, the complainant alleged the respondent and the court conspired together to withhold the record from her. The commission does not have jurisdiction over matters concerning judges. The respondent stated she did not ignore the complainant's request, but simply put the email request in the wrong folder. When she became aware of the complaint, she notified the complainant immediately and provided an estimate for the record that was requested. The respondent denied intentionally omitting, withholding, or altering the record to impact the complaint's appeal. Personal matters affected the respondent, which impacted her timeline of producing records. but there was no negative impact that was intentional on her part. The Court of Appeals ordered the trial court to review the respondent's audio when transcripts were filed with them that were incomplete. The trial court determined minor corrections were necessary, but it did not affect the case's judgment at the trial level.
We found violations in this case of Code of Ethics 4B1, Code of Ethics 4B2, and Code of Ethics 10M. We're recommending a reprimand and that the respondent complete 2.5 hours of continuing education in rules and ethics and assess an administrative penalty of $1,500 total. Both continuing education and the administrative penalty are due within 6 months after the date of the final order.
Thank you, guys. Hi, Ms. Washington. I see that you're here today to join us. Thank you very much for your time. And Ms. Parks, there you are. Sorry, I'm searching on my on my screen there. You're here today as well. Is that correct? You're the complainant in this case? You're on mute. You're on mute. That's okay. I appreciate that very much. Okay. I'll start first with Ms. Parks. Again, we've got 831 pages in front of us here of everything. And we appreciate, we have the benefit of the interview that our folks have done with you and everything else. Is there anything that is not in front of us right now that you think that we need to know before we start discussing this any further?
Yeah, I have. Thank you so much for having this meeting. It's been a long time. I've been going through this process, and just like Ms. Rico said, that these transcripts are so vital to our constitutional rights and our due process. And when they are not correct, when they are delayed, they prolong the issue and create tension within the parties. To the point where, as I'm having to continue to file documents to try to obtain these transcripts, in the appeal, she requested 9 extensions, a total of 9 extensions, and there was, throughout the process, because I think 6 of them, the first 6 extensions were just regular extensions, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 extensions were just regular extensions, and then when she filed the record was incomplete, and she had to have known the record was incomplete because she had not received the transcript that was transcribed by another court reporter.
Ms. Parks, just please don't talk about what she knew or what she didn't know, unless she told you that. She doesn't. Just go ahead. Just tell us from your side what we don't have in front of us, okay?
Yeah. So there was another court reporter that transcribed the motion for new trial, and in that, Ms. Washington, from what I heard, what I've received from Ms. Graves, who transcribed that transcript. Ms. Washington did not even request the transcript from her until after.
All in front of us. We got it. I promise. This entire outline is all in front of us.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, that I wanted to disclose that, and then throughout the appeal, then she also, didn't file, and she filed an incomplete transcript, and all this time, I'm having to continue to wait on filing my brief. And now the 5th Court of Appeals is requiring me, is not giving me the same extensions that they granted her. And I literally recently had a panic attack where I lost consciousness because the stress this has caused.
What's the status of your case right now?
So today my brief is due.
Okay.
My brief is due, and I still feel like I have altered transcripts that I cannot get fixed through the trial court because, of course, it is her judge that is the one that had to make the ruling
right
on that. So,
we can't, for just so you know, we can't talk about. I mean, we can't deal with. I said there and she wrote they are, or something like that's not what we do here at this point. So. Let us kind of talk a little bit, and if we have some questions, we'll certainly ask you relative to it. Miss Washington, I see that you're there. Again, before we kind of get started, again, appreciating that we've got all of this information in front of us. Is there anything that's not in front of us that you want us to know particularly, or before we get started? Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me?
There you are. There you are.
Sorry,
Okay,
I'm a
great.
little soft spoken. I'm sorry. Yes, there are several things that I'd like to bring to you all's attention. I know that Ms. Parks keeps mentioning my extensions, and every extension that was filed, which was not mine, but I want to make that very clear. There were, I believe, 3 extensions.
We got them here. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and they were all granted by the court. Every extension that was filed. Ms. Parks wants to make you guys aware of incomplete records. The record that was filed on November 15th was what I had. There was never a request for the additional date. She never sent a formal request to me to ask for that date by the other reporters. So I had no idea until I found that date. Just going through completing the transcript in the file, saw that date and immediately contacted Ms. Graves. Ms. Graves, there was never a deputy reporter statement, because if there was, Ms. Graves would have got every notification from the Court of Appeals that I received. Ms. Parks is trying to make this as though I'm trying to keep a record from her that came from Ms. Graves. I can't know about what I did not have. Like I said, there wasn't a designation of the dates that were needed from Ms. Parks. The only dates that I knew was what I had, and that's what I turned in on the November 15th filing, and that is clear from my TAMES filing system. You can see exactly what I filed. There was no trying to pretend to file something that I never had. After that, the Court of Appeals sent a letter on November 24th because Ms. Parks sent a letter saying that there was an additional date. The court accepted that as a motion to supplement the record and gave me until December 13th to file the completed records with the additional dates, which I did. And that's when I had Ms. Graves' transcript to file. So there was never this, I'm filing an incomplete record as though I know. Yes, I know there's a record from Ms. Graves, but if you don't request it, I don't know.
Right.
And when I did know, I followed up and let that be known.
Okay. Can you answer this for? I want to talk about that for just a moment. So we have in our packets here and the information in front of us, correspondence back and forth with you and Ms. Graves and Ms. Parks and different things. And I want to make sure that this is clear. So you're saying that when you filed the record on November 15th, you were unaware that it needed to include Ms. Graves' portion?
No, I filed what I had. There was never a request for the November 5th, for Ms. Graves' date. I was up against the deadline, so I filed only what was requested of me. There was never a request from Ms. Parks for that. If I'm up against the deadline, I went ahead and filed what I had, and in the email I sent to Ms. Graves, I let her know that you can file an extension. She was just finding out about
Did you make any representations to the court that it was a complete record as to everything, or just it was complete as to what you had?
As to what I had, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kim and Debbie. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, please go ahead, jump in.
And if I overlooked it in the paperwork, forgive me, Miss Washington, was there a designation of record filed or provided to you? I can't hear you again.
She said
I'm
never.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I think closer works better.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. There was never a designation filed with the trial court clerk or sent to me.
Okay. Which this is significant because
Without the designation, you don't know what you got to turn in.
exactly, and I'm an official. I work in court. I have for many years, and I actually have a
Rick,
I actually have a template that is, prepared to fill out if it applies, that I send to the Court of Appeals. If I don't have a designation of record and either satisfactory payment arrangements, which for me means a full deposit up front, or even for an indigent person, the designation of record is still required. It's required in the government code, chapter 52.047. And it starts with, a person may apply for a transcript of the evidence in a case reported by an official court reporter. The person must apply for the transcript in writing to the official court reporter, etc. But more importantly, our Texas Rules of Appellate Procedure 34.6 B1, request a court reporter. Added before the time for perfecting the appeal, the appellant must request in writing that the official reporter prepare the reporter's record. The request must designate the exhibits to be included. I require the person to give me what dates, what hearings are you wanting? Because it could be many dates, and they're the ones who know what they want. And I can't even prepare an estimate when I don't know what they want. And I think that that's relevant here, regarding if you didn't even have a designation and you filed what you had. And then I would ask you, Ms. Washington, tell us again how you learned of the additional hearing date.
as I was preparing,
Can you lean forward, please?
all right, as I was going through the court portal with all the filings, and I was just looking for actually like spellings on some of the proper names in the record, and I saw this additional date,
Okay.
and then I went into my log to see, and I wasn't the reporter. And I did send an email to Ms. Graves because I know that Ms. Parks was going to eventually correct that and want to possibly. So I just let her know that this case was on appeal. But Ms. Graves also didn't file a deputy reporter statement, and I didn't know that, and because she would have also received those notices from the appellate court from the beginning of the appeal. So there was no, just she was left out for any purpose other than that.
Thank
And
you, Ms. Washington. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Debbie.
that's okay. Go ahead, Molly.
I mean, so I'm looking at the timeline of everything, and so here's where it gets kicked off. Is Friday afternoon on July 17th, Miss Parks reaches out and says, "Can I get a transcript of the hearing?" Kind of nondescript. That's Friday afternoon. Monday afternoon, she follows up and says, "I'm following up. I want the June 5th hearing." And Ms. Washington responds within 20 minutes and says, "My apologies, I will get an invoice, my apologies for the delay," which I don't know that 24 business hours is really a delay, but apologies for the delay, I'll get you an invoice. And then doesn't get an invoice out, which, okay, fine. And I appreciate misfiled emails and, different things. And then having not received the invoice in less than a month, Ms. Parks then files the complaint. Ms. Washington gets notice of the complaint that's filed with us for not responding, then reaches out and responds, and starts to get the ball rolling. Now, there are some extensions required. I don't love that the extension requests sometimes are after the date that the order, or the date that the record is due. I don't love it, but yeah, okay. I mean, the plus or minus a couple of days here and there. Okay, fine. I don't love that that's happening. Extensions happen. Got it. I appreciate what you're telling us, Ms. Washington, about it wasn't clear, and what you're saying, Debbie, about there's no designation of record, so I don't even know the full extent. I further appreciate when it was filed, there was a mix-up of you submitted the rough draft, and when they said, "Oh no," with the blanks and everything, and it's very clear. I am not a court reporter. It's very clearly a rough draft to me, with the blanks in there and the name, and how everything is. the fact that you turned it around the next day means that it was an error in my mind. Means that it was an error and it wasn't you just trying to buy time or whatever, because I don't know that you can turn the record around that quickly from that rough into a final thing. And then, and then there are some judges recusing themselves, and then there's a hearing about some inaccuracies of the record and some minor things, I think.
Yeah, I want to kind of pause right there. Now, remind, this lady's learning everything right here. This lady just explained, during this lady's case, there's been judges recusing themselves from her case. Now, why is judges recusing themselves from her case? Questions, questions, questions. Only time a judge recuses herself is if they've been caught in like a little web, or it was out of the judge's league. They didn't know what to do with the things that she has put in there. Just for all in capers purposes, the magistrates, like family courts and all that kind of stuff, they're kind of the lower crooked side. It's always best, even in family law, to get it out of the magistrate side up in federal, because they have a tendency to play stupid little games down in there. Alright? Now again, I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving legal advice. It's just my opinion. Alright? But my opinion with first-hand knowledge. Alright? Because they're going denying everybody their constitutional rights, which would be considered as civil, which means it's contract. Okay? But does this lady have first-hand knowledge that the judges are talking about it's a contract law thing? No. Why? Because they are not giving full disclosure to anybody in family court that there is a contract involved in this. And then they're going to play these stupid little games of bylaws, which I call bypass laws. Ordinances, this, that, here, and there. Okay? So I just want to let you know, they admit on their paperwork or what they found and all that she has actually got judges recusing themselves. That itself, I love her for that. Good job for her.
That were found in some minor changes, but largely the trial court, and appropriately for their venue, does not really find any substantive issues that are massive. I said I saw the guy in the green shirt shoot him, and you said nobody saw anything, and this was a big fat mystery. So I don't see those types of things that are here. And so my thought is, I don't. First of all, I'm not in love with the fines. As far as the recommendations go, I'm not in love with the fines. I think that they're a little excessive, particularly with the, I don't know. We've seen other cases that are worse, and so I don't think that's awesome. And then I think maybe there should be, I don't know. I think that Ms. Washington, I don't like it when you make courts wait. We don't like it when you make courts wait, and we don't like it when you, and I'm not saying that filing for an extension was an inappropriate measure. That's not what I'm saying at all. That happens, and we understand it, and that avenue is available. I don't like that it's late, but I don't know that I
had to say, people didn't think about this, okay? She's an attorney. We don't like it when we make courts wait. However, attorneys have a bad habit of making the people wait, right? When you go through a lawsuit, why does it take 2 to 3 to 4 years for that lawsuit? Because they keep on doing a bunch of motions over and 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 over. Right? So they're making her wait, the courts to wait, for them to do whatever they're going to do.
Extensions that are being filed from August through November for 3 months. I did.
Can I speak to?
Hang on one second. Kim, Debbie, is that, I mean, I'm more sensitive to
Okay, we're going to have to cut this right here because we're at 31 minutes and apparently I can't record the whole thing at once, and it somehow or another it's in a phone web. It'd take me a couple of days to figure out how to do it and get it back out again. Alright, I had that happen to me once and once only, but it took me a long time to figure out how to get all that separated out, and I think I actually had to record to record to record. Alright, so this is Diesel We the People News.